Welcome back to Everything Money. Of course, it's your host, Seth. I'm here with Paul and Mo. We're talking about Tencent today. This is a Chinese multinational conglomerate. Whenever they're a conglomerate, Paul, I'm interested. Just a great word.
It's a very like Batman evil, kind of word. It's a conglomerate.
That's right. In the past couple months, I have fallen deeply in love with a man named Manish Pabrai out of Pabrai Funds. He's of the Warren Buffett family tree. He immersed himself in Warren Buffett techniques. He started going to Nebraska for their annual meeting, and in turn, after going for 30 years, became friends with Charlie Munger and Warren Buffett. And
he became friends because he paid $640,000 to get a lunch with them.
That's right.
That helps.
And he, in the first chapter of this new book we've been talking about, Richer, Wiser, Happier by William Green. Basically, the first chapter is about Manish Pabrai, what he's done, how he does it, how he's giving back. It's an interesting story, and we're going to talk a lot about it moving forward because I'm just a huge fan of his. But Paul, he is a huge fan of both Alibaba and Tencent. Obviously, both Chinese companies. You have mentioned on this channel, you have mentioned your hesitations with investing with Chinese companies. We have found what perhaps seem some, not so much discrepancies, but some oddities in some Chinese companies that.
Well, to be blunt, there's a lot of evidence of fraudulent numbers coming out of China. Now, when we did the Baba numbers, I said, when we did our video,
yes,
I believe I said, if you believe these numbers, which I'm not saying you shouldn't, because Baba's a bigger company, it's a buy, I think. I think we had it listed as a buy, even though it's run up a lot.
Yep.
So
Manish Pabrai is a big fan of this. This is founded in 1998. Subsidiaries at global markets, internet-related services and products, entertainment, artificial intelligence. This is a lot, Paul, and this is one of the biggest companies in the world. We have never talked about this, and we know very little of it. The point is, if you know very little of this company, welcome to the show. We'd like to look at this and see, do the numbers make sense? If the numbers make sense using our 8-pillar analysis, perhaps we'll take a deeper look. Why is Manish Pabrai in love with this stock? Why are other people in love with this stock? And where can this company go in the future? We'll look at our 8 pillars. We will have Mo look up the trading. And we're not using the Everything Money software today because this is a foreign stock. So we'll be using Y charts, just like the good old days, Paul. So I welcome you in, Paul.
Our OG days of a year ago.
So long ago.
Yeah,
300 days.
When we had 500 subscribers, now 56,000 subscribers. And when we had no software, now we do. So Seth, look at this 10-year chart. This bad boy was at $4 or $5 a share just 10 years ago. That's incredible. Look at that growth. But here's interesting. It was $91 just a few months ago. So if I told you at this point right here it was going to fall 30%, what would you said? 25%.
Ain't happening.
Paul, you're crazy. It happens, guys. So let's start. $700 billion market cap after falling 20-some%. PE, why is it so negative PE? That doesn't even make sense. Net income less is $23 billion on 694. So what's, Seth, can you pull out your calculator and tell me what 700 divided by 23 is?
Yes. It's a 30.4.
So it's about a 30 PE. So that's an X. So it's a little overpriced based on our PE, but that doesn't mean necessarily that it's overpriced, because if it has a lot of growth potential, you should be willing to pay more for more growth. Very logical. Look at this profit margin of 44%.
Wow.
So that's a check mark there. Look at this adorable dividend, 0.3%.
That's nice.
That is nice. All right, so far, 1 X and 1 check.
Let's look at the revenue growth over the past 5 years. I'm assuming it's growing.
It is growing. 22.8 to 70 billion. So that's a check mark there.
Yep.
Okay, how about profit? Would we assume it's going up as well?
I think that's a safe assumption. 6.1 to 23 billion. Check mark there.
That's a little bit of growth.
So revenue has gone up 3 times, almost 3 times. Profit's up almost 4 times. So we like seeing that. The fact that they're growing their revenue, and it does make sense that their profit should be growing at a higher rate if the revenue is going up.
How about shares outstanding? What are they doing with their share count?
Okay, so 9.376 to 9.49. That's an X there. Not a ton of share growth, but they are doing it very consistently. Even going back to 2011, you see a very consistent issuing of shares along the way. But it's not bad. It's not like it's like, oh my God, what's going on here? Do you know what I mean? So I can deal with that.
How about current assets over current liabilities?
Total current assets right now are 48.6 billion. Total current liabilities are 41.19. So check mark there. And remember, Seth, now you got to bring out the calculator because we don't have our software anymore.
This is terrible.
So guys, we have our own software. For those of you who are new to watching us, we have our own software. It does a lot of this work for you. because we are just now getting our foreign stocks in. We didn't have this company in our system quite yet, but as time goes on, we're gonna get more and more foreign exchanges in, and then the system will do it automatically for you. It's way cheaper. White Charts is $200 to $500 a month. Ours is 80 cents a day, $25 a month, no brainer. Plus you get exclusive content, our stock analyzer tool, which all these other sites don't have. So Seth, you ready for free cash flow? First off, what is free cash flow, Seth?
Free cash flow is cash from operations minus the capital expenditures. And
That is correct.
Why do you love it so much, Paul?
I love it because it's the real way, it's the less manipulated number between earnings and cash flow. Over long periods of time, earnings and cash flow should be very similar, but because of SEC and accounting rules, earnings can be manipulated big time, not on purpose, but because of how they recognize revenue and expenses. Cash flow just says, what's the cash in, what's the cash out, essentially. Free cash flow is the money being left over that you can use for paying down debt, making acquisitions, paying dividends, buying back shares, things like that that can make the company more valuable, right?
Go ahead.
So we had free cash flow of $7 billion 5 years ago and $18.5 billion last year. That's a check mark. And then we had 11 billion, 8.6, and 13.3 for an average of?
The average over the past 5 years is 11.7.
11.7 times 20. Why do we pick 20, Seth?
20 is the multiple we like to find our desired market cap, which matches our PE. We would like around 20. And
We have $234 billion. Now, that is a lot lower of where the company is right now. That doesn't necessarily mean, which is an X, by the way, that does not necessarily mean that the company is overpriced. This doesn't factor in the growth potential of the company.
Yeah, so the current market cap is 700. Our desired market cap is 234.
Let's go pull up the chart. Can you pull up the chart, Mo? Mo can do some chart stuff while I put it in our old school Excel sheet that will pull the data that we made our stock analyzer tool based on, and then we'll see what we should pay for the company.
Now, we're not going to pretend that we're doing enough due diligence on this company. That is the point of the show. But Paul, there are tons of articles about Tencent's popularity, how it's the world's largest online market, and how they're doing things that could be squelching other businesses in China, as a New York Times article. They're not, I don't know if they're playing nice, they're trying to, but there is some volatility in the regulations over there. So let's
between the U.S. and China right now.
Yeah, well, Mo, even speaking within Chinese alone, you know, there's a lot of regulations over there.
Yeah,
And it
I mean, the Chinese are certainly going after companies that are trying to participate in our markets.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so Mo, are people trading this? What's going on over there?
So this is the Yahoo Finance chart, and the reason I pulled this up is because it's on my personal charts. I don't get the Chinese stuff, but even with this, you can see that there's all these little gaps all over the place. It's the way that their system is translated in ours, so you're going to get that. So let's focus on the stochastic down here, and you're kind of right in the middle right now. Nice, it is moving up, so you are starting a nice kind of uptrend right now. Again, you can see how difficult this is to trade these kind of stocks. I think in maybe Charles Schwab it might be a little bit better for you. I honestly don't know, but this is one of the reasons that I tend to stay away from the Chinese companies, just because of the way that they're translated in. It's nothing wrong with them. I always say I like to stay away from the Chinese stuff, just because of what Paul was talking about earlier. If you get a chart, it really doesn't matter what you trade. You could trade the cryptocurrencies, you could trade regular stocks, you could trade the Chinese stocks, but focus on trend for this one if you are missing the candlesticks.
Paul, what do you got over here?
Okay, so I put in some assumptions here. Remember, every investment is the present value of all future cash flow. We don't know the future. We have no idea what the future is going to be. When times are good, we think the future is going to be a lot rosier. When times are bad, we feel it's going to be worse. So the concern I have is we're in a very rosy time in the market, so everybody makes very high assumptions. The goal of investing is to make reasonable assumptions and buy at that level or lower. So their growth has been about 32% a year. I'm going to discount that 3 different levels, 60%, 40%, and 20%. Their share buyback, I'm going to keep at 70% of the level, 85%, 100%, and their profit margin, I'm going to keep the same, 90%, 100%. Their recent four-quarter profit margin was 33.3%, and the 5-year average has been 29%. So that quarter of profit, that profit number we said earlier was 40%. That was in the recent quarter. So overall, I base my numbers on longer term averages because I don't never want to go, just like I wouldn't punish a company for having one bad quarter or one bad year, I don't want to reward them for having one outstanding quarter or outstanding year. I want to look at long term averages, right? So according to all these assumptions and a 10% net present value, I have a price between $40 and $91 based on my worst case and best case. The stock is currently at 72, so basically right in the middle of it. So this is where I'm looking at going, okay, this might need more of my attention. Why? Because it's in the juices there. I could probably make 12 or 13% if I think the stock, if I do more due diligence, do my research, and realize the stock is probably selling for what it should sell for, right? And I put in reasonable assumptions, I thought here, not insane assumptions, but reasonable ones. It includes shares increasing at a certain rate every single year. So I'm actually not turned off by this. The question is, what growth rate are they going to have going forward? As an example, let's say they kept their growth rate the same for the next 5 years. The stock is worth all day long what it's selling for today. If they're able to grow 30% a year for the next 5 years, they're worth between 97 and 120. The question you have to ask yourself is, do I think the stock's going to grow 30? Do you think the revenue of the company is going to grow 32% a year for the next 5 years? That seems like a hard assumption for me to get around. I tend to be more conservative. You have to decide for yourself what makes sense or not. I don't want to be too conservative where everything is just doomsday, but I also want to be reasonable saying, okay, the company's grown a lot in the last 5 years. Typically, as companies get larger and larger, it's harder to grow at the same rate as the past. That just makes sense. Is it easier to go from $1 million to $2 million in sales or $100 billion to $200 billion in sales? They're both doubling, but which one's easier to do, right? So you have to sit here and figure this stuff out. If you assume a 20% drop, which I still think isn't enough, you're looking at it in 73. It's a good buy here. It's between $73 and $91 a share. Okay, so you have to decide for yourself what makes sense. But are you in this just to make 10%? I don't know. That's all the things that in our stock analyzer tool, which mimics this, you get to decide. What are your assumptions? What are you looking forward going forward? What returns do you want? And here's the number, because it's just a calculation at the end of the day. That's all everything about investing is. You make your assumptions, and you just have to tell yourself, where is it going to go in the future? And what are my returns going to be? That's that.
So Paul, in contrast, what if we looked up Alibaba on our software and you showed some of the numbers from them?
Absolutely. Okay, so this is our software right here. Like we said, 80 cents a day. It gives you way more than just a software. You get exclusive content. You get our Discord community. But it's very simple. Click on the Stock Analyzer tool, enter in your stock, Alibaba Group, select the number of years you want to evaluate. I always pick 7. Now, what it does here is it gives you the 1, 5, and 10-year numbers. Now, obviously, BABA, we don't have going back 10 years, but it gives us 1 and 5 years. So you have to decide for yourself, what assumptions are you making? So revenue growth-wise, I don't think Alibaba is going to grow 40% a year for the next 7 years. Let's sit and assume the low side is 25, the middle is 30, high side is 35. Share change. Okay, they're increasing their shares over the last 5 years by a lot, but it's decreasing. So maybe we go in this situation, as it's lower assumptions on share change, it's going to drive the price of the stock down as you issue more shares. So we want this to be the opposite of here. Here we're going from lower to high. Here we go from higher to low. Because a higher share change means that the stock is being devalued more. Okay, it's called dilution. Let's go 2, 1, and 0. Profit margin. Let's go 20, 22, and 24. You see how fast I'm going through this? The purpose of that is I'm using the stock analyzer tool right here to get a general idea of where the stock stands today. Not to sit there and say, this is the exact price I should pay. It's to get a general idea to say, should I look further or not? Okay, free cash flow as a percentage of revenue, 25, 27.5, and 30. PE, 15, 18, 15, 17.5, and 20. Price of free cash flow, since over long periods of time, they should be pretty similar to earnings. I do the same multiple. And then same as share buyback, desired return. The higher my desired return, the lower the stock price will be. So I'm going 15, 12.5, and 10. I hit this analyze button. The stock is currently at 211. And it actually says, according to this, that I should be buying Alibaba stock all day long right here.
Yeah.
All day long. Because every number's in green. If these assumptions are true, then I should buy Alibaba all day long. And I think these are reasonable assumptions. If you believe the data here, you know, I mean, even look at 20. Let's even drop this. Let's go 20%, 22.5, and 25. I mean, geez, oh Pete, it's basically only one price out of 6 is telling me it's overpriced. No, we should look into this company more.
Okay.
I keep bailing on looking at this because I have my bias. And here's bias, guys. as unemotional I can be about investing, I still have bias of like, okay, because I remember years ago, Alibaba came out with some data that I was just like, there's no way they sold that much on that one day. I was just like, how is that even
that
possible?
was their like Amazon Prime
Their
Day.
Amazon Prime Day.
Yeah.
The number was like insane. I was like, how did they sell that much that one day? So, but this tells me, Paul, go do your due diligence and see who's auditing them, how it's being done. Make sure it's not like that Lucan Coffee or whatever that was just, it was not audited by Ernst & Young. It was just some terms, like the way they worded it was very like, wait a second, it's not really an audit. It's more like they're just doing the accounting, et cetera. So I look at Alibaba going, yeah, this is probably a buy at this price. They just got to figure out the exact numbers.
So our boy Sven Carlin did a video on this recently about some of these companies, Tencent, Alibaba. He's analyzing Manish Pabrai. I've yet to watch this one, and there's the book, Paul. Actually, he's showing The Richer, Wiser, Happier, where we talks about Manish. So like we have a lot to learn on these. You know, I mean, this is a good start for both Tencent and Baba. And yeah, I think I swayed with your thoughts, obviously, because you're my investing coach, but it seems like the rest of the world is opening up the idea about how some of these companies are very large and still undervalued at the moment by our metrics, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, a lot of foreign companies are. And it's like I said, I talked to a friend of mine who's at a hedge fund, and I said, you know, I get concerned about the data coming from China. And they said, yeah, we agree. And I was like, okay, well, good. It's not just me saying that. But either way, you know, if the numbers are right, Alibaba is probably a great deal. Tencent is probably close to a great deal. So just do more due diligence on it. That's the point of the stock analyzer tool and the way I've used it, and the point of the 8 pillars, to sit there and get an idea of like, yeah, I need to go do more research on this one.
Yeah, as always, we point you towards Sven Carlin's page. Tim, here's his page here on YouTube, and of course you can view more from Manish Pabrai here on Mr. Pabrai's page. I've been trying to watch some of these videos, and we're trying to learn just like you. And as always, if this math-based look at finances and interests you and resonates with you, you can join our Patreon, as Paul said. The link is in the description below. You get this software as a patron member. You get access to all the news. You get access to.
Well, let's look at this right here.
Go ahead, Paul. Thanks for saving me.
Yeah. So here are my cute dogs.
Here's Paul's
guys.
dogs.
Here's the comparison: 25 on its way to 50. So it's currently 25. The comparisons are these. Mobile app. We have a mobile app. 8 pillars, 30 years more financial data, stock analyzer tool, daily content, access to us 3, real estate calculator, stock screeners, retirement calculator, Discord community with over 4,000 people in it to talk about investing. It's not overwhelming. We have different chats set up for different conversations. You can engage people great, and you can cancel anytime. All of these versus all this red. Guys, it's a no-brainer to me. It's literally 80 cents a day. How do you go wrong?
Yes, if you've never been a part of a Patreon page, look at the description and see if you like it. And we started at a very low number, and the number goes up every month, and the spots fill. So that's our take on Tencent. We will definitely look at this more, Paul, as well as Alibaba. And yeah, thanks for following along. Follow the thumbs up on the way out, and we'll see you next time.